Hello guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Three Hammers. I'm joined finally by a former West Ham player. It's only took me 5 years to get a West Ham player on, but Zavon, a player I really liked when he was at West Ham. My dad really used to like him as well. Has kindly joined us, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's cool, mate. Good time to be a West Ham fan, mate. We're doing well, mate. Good start. What do you make of West Ham's start to the season?
To be honest, they've been brilliant. I'm just happy that the club's in a place where the fans are happy to be watching the football. The team is settled. Yeah, and it excites me now watching them, and I go into every game thinking, "Oh, we're going to win." So
definitely,
that's a good feeling.
That front four are terrifying, aren't they? That front four we've got now is a really frightening prospect for most Premier League teams.
Yeah, they've got a mixture of everything. They've got pace, strength, bit of class, composure, which you need that in the top league. So yeah, there's a good balance, good mix, and they're all playing with each other very well. So it's good to see.
Definitely. What about Mickey, mate? Mickey Antonio breaking the Paolo Di Canio's record. What a guy he is. You are coaching at the club, haven't you? Is that why I read that right? So, do you see a lot of Mickey around, or are you sort of more with your little team?
No, not much. His son trains and play with the academy sometimes, so I see him now and again. I haven't seen him much, really, if I'm honest. Because we're at our training ground, so we're not with the first team, especially because of COVID. There's no mixing or anything like that, so I can't pop over there, vice versa. Yeah, but for him personally, it speaks for itself, and he's a guy that when you see him do interviews, just how he plays the game, he plays with a lot of passion, but he's always smiling as well, and you can see that he's a bit of a character as well. So he's a lovable guy, and there's no coincidence why he's doing so well, because he's very selfless. He's worked hard to get where he is now, and he deserves it all, man.
Living the dream, mate, and he living the dream.
Yeah, because
Jamaican roots like you as well, mate, and he might be making his Jamaican debut soon. Will you be supporting him, mate, with Jamaica?
Yeah, I support Jamaica anyway.
Good lad.
Right now, Jamaica's got a decent.
You have me. Andre Gray, Ravel Morrison, decent, mate.
Yeah.
Bailey.
Yeah, they've got a decent squad. So with him, if he does go and play for Jamaica, it just helps the country a lot more. So it'll be good to see him in the green.
We need him back, mate. We need him back in the World Cup. I remember '98 with Robbie L. Like, we need you back in there, mate. We need you.
Yeah, I remember that as well. I was young. That's probably the last time they've ever been in any major tournament. So now they've got a decent squad. So hopefully they could go do something special.
Definitely, mate. Good luck to you. So it's transfer deadline day tomorrow, mate. Who would you like to see if you could pick some players that you'd like to see come through the door at West Ham? Who would you like to see come through?
It's hard to say. There's so many players that's out there, but if I was just to think about positions and just squad depth, that helps, because obviously playing in the Europa League now, which is, I can't remember last time I said that about West Ham. So
that's right, mate.
Yeah,
especially so that's stage, mate. We usually go out to Estragugu.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure. I think we definitely need another striker to help Antonio, 100%.
What about Jesse, mate? What about Jesse? I'd love to see Jesse come back.
It'll be good for him to come back. Obviously, last year, end of last season, he done outstanding. Obviously, all the fans, you saw it for yourself, how good he done, and he kind of like helped the team propel to the next
winning mentality
level. Yeah, so for him to come back, that'll be good. At the minute, he's not playing much at United, so I think he should come back and just play games. He's still.
The only reason I was at United, if I was in, mate, is I'd want to be Ronaldo's mate every day. I want Ronaldo to be my mate.
Yeah, that's the only reason. But if he wants to think about his football career, he's not going to get much game time, is he? So
we'd love it, wouldn't we? The West Ham fans absolutely love it.
Yeah, he could come here and be one of the main men in the team as well, and play a lot of games and win us a lot of games. So it'll be good for him.
What about Kurt Zouma, mate? Kurt Zouma, what a signing that is! What a fantastic signing that is!
It's a good signing. It's a good signing. But I'm not sure if he's getting the team at the minute. The team's doing well. So even though
no one's getting in front of Oggy. Oggy's, for me, one of the best centre-backs outside the top 6.
But I even think Dawson, he's impressed me massively, man. His composure at times, his understanding and reading of the game, but also his aggression in both boxes. I think that goes unnoticed at times. He wins a lot of headers, especially defensively.
Ginger Collins a little bit, no nonsense, just like puts his body on the line.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of defenders these days, they don't think about defending enough. So when I see so when I see a natural defender enjoying trying to keep the ball out the back of the net, it brings me pride, and I love seeing him play. I knew someone that played with him when he was at Rochdale. For him to come all this way and doing what he's doing now, I just love seeing it. So yeah.
So good times for West Ham at the moment, mate. Before I go on to talk about your career and stuff like that, I've read when I was doing some research about the show that you're secretly an Arsenal fan. How are Arsenal doing at the moment, mate?
I'm a West Ham fan. Yeah, I'm a West Ham fan. No, I grew up in an Arsenal household. So obviously I grew up on Henry, Patrick Vieira.
Mate, it's the best Arsenal team that's ever existed.
Yeah, like those times. My dad is an Arsenal fan as well. So I've always been Arsenal, but obviously once I was at West Ham, just naturally, that's where my heart went as well. But at the same time, in the back of my, I'm still.
Obviously, it's a childhood team.
But if I'm honest, I got divorced to Arsenal. We divorced ages ago. I'm a one-woman man now at West Ham.
They're awful, though, aren't they? They're really, really bad at the minute. Really
I'm really confusing what's going on, to be honest.
It's sad. It's sad to see, mate. Listen, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but it's sad to see the best footballing team, arguably of the generation, to go to literally like anti-football.
When you think about it, I think they've got a decent squad. I just don't know what's going on. I don't think they have any winners.
There's no Vieira anymore. There's no Vieira. There's no one that scares me. When we come up against them, there's no one that scares me anymore. It's kind of been like that since when I was at West Ham, because I remember going to play against them. Even though they had good players, they had like Cesc Fabregas and players like that in midfield. But if you was to, obviously you couldn't get next to him, but if you was to get up next to him, like you could actually get about them. You could with the physicality side of things. But there now, I think it's even got worse now. So it's just kind of sad to see at times. I'm in a group chat that I get battered all the time about Arsenal. So I had to tell them yesterday. I'm West Ham.
I keep sending the gifs of West Ham and Antonio scoring and Declan Rice running off doing celebration. I'm like, this is where my heart is now. So anything that you say about Arsenal, I'm not feeling it.
There's a lot of love for the Arsenal fans at the minute. Feel the sympathy, mate. Anyway, mate. So your career now. So as it's going along the bottom there, 33 times you played for West Ham. Mate, I dreamed to play just once, and you scored 3 goals, mate. What was it like that first ever time you got brought on and you come out to bubbles? What is that like, mate, as a player?
I remember the first home start was against Liverpool.
Oh, was that game? You was unreal, mate, against Glenn Johnson. You absolutely ripped him a new one.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was my first home start, where the first time I actually walked out to the bubbles, and that was that feeling there. I didn't really take it in, if I'm honest, because it's something that I've always dreamt of. So one thing I try to live by is try to enjoy the moment as much as possible, because it don't last that long. So now it feels like yesterday, but now I'm a coach today. So it goes so quick, and I remember it like I said, like it was yesterday. The feeling there was like pride.
How long had you been at West Ham at that point, like as a kid, like building up to that point? How many years did it take to get to that point?
Probably like 4 years, 5 years, because I signed quite late in the academy system. I signed at under 16s. So I had like 4 or 5 months to try to get a scholarship. Before that, I'd never been in an academy system at all. So obviously, I was fortunate. Well, by God's grace, now I was able to do that within that 6-month period to get a scholarship. But yeah, so it's only been like 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Some great players in your generation as well, mate. Jack Collinson, Stanislas. Was Tompkins in your generation as well?
Yeah.
Some really top players. You and Junior were fantastic when you first come through. You know, so dynamic, forward thinking. I bet that was quite a bunch to work with, and it was nice to come into the team together.
Yeah, I just it was good. Obviously, it was good for me. It was good for Junior as well. But for me personally, I remember just being able to get the opportunity. Obviously, I don't speak much about where I came from or all of things like that. But for me, when I look back and I think about it, it brings me pride, it brings me joy, because not many. I was the first one from my environment to actually make it to do something actually positive and special. Even till this day, my friends, they speak about it, and it's like, oh, you was the first one. You kind of inspired us to want to do certain things. So that brings me pride. That brings me joy. So yeah, just being able to play for the club. That's one of the reasons why I love the club so much.
Yeah, you were a good player for us as well, mate. I think barring your knee injuries, mate, I think you would maybe have had a longer time at the club. I think the knee injuries were just what suffered you in the end, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it slowed me down. But I remember coming back from the first knee injury. I only had one knee injury, but I was out for a long time. And I remember coming back after when I had the initial injury. I was with one manager. By the time I come back, I think 1 or 2 managers has been changed over. So there's a lot of different
players. Who was the manager then? Just escapes me. Was it Zola or Kirbishley?
Kirbishley. My first ever appearance in the Carling Cup.
Against Macclesfield, yeah.
And against Macclesfield, yeah. And then I remember, obviously, once I start to get a little bit more established was under Zola when I played a few more games.
What do you remember about your first ever goal? I read that it was actually for Coventry, your first ever senior goal. Yeah. What was that like, mate? What is that moment like to score that first ever goal?
For me, I was buzzing because I remember when I got the call that I'm going on loan to Coventry. It was for the last 6 weeks of the season. So I remember I was in South London and it was 2-3 o'clock, and they Kirbishley called me. Well, it's his assistant, and then he came on the phone and he's like, "Oh, you got to go to you're going on loan to Coventry." And I was buzzing because they was in the Championship at the time. Yeah, so I was like, "Okay, that's decent." So he's like, "I've got to get to the stadium before 5 o'clock, otherwise it won't happen." These times it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I was in South London. I made it because I went through a couple of lights. I was driving in the bus lane. I got a couple of tickets along the way, but because I knew I had to be there, so I got there. And then I went up there and I played every game, but I didn't start a game. It was more for the experience. I was only just turned 18.
Yeah.
So I was still quite young. So I came on every game, tried to be that impact sub. And I remember we played Sheffield Wednesday away, and the team was doing well, full of experienced players. But it was down near the bottom of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And played Sheffield Wednesday away, and I think it was quite late on in the game. I came on, and then I just remember one of their defenders taking a bad touch after a pass across, and then I was facing away from goal, and because of his bad touch, I just swiveled first time, and it went in, and I was obviously buzzing. I ran off like I stole something.
Does anything else in life come close to that moment of scoring a goal?
No. I always say to people, people always ask me, do I remember? I can't remember when I scored. That first 5 seconds, I can't ever remember because of the feeling and the emotion. And then the emotions, if you was to ask me, how did I feel? I can't explain it.
It's just a super duper high.
Yeah, it was just like a massive blur of excitement and everything. So I could easily give you the cliche thing. Oh, I was buzzing, I was over the moon, but it's not really the feeling that I had. Yeah, so scoring is always special, especially as a forward player.
Yeah. Let's go on to some of your most famous West Ham goals. There were 3. Obviously, Aston Villa, 93rd minute winner. Let's go through that one first, then we'll do the Millwall goal, because that one's legendary, the Millwall goal.
That one, the Aston Villa, I remember we went a few games without winning, and we was in the bottom half.
Never, West Ham.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. I'm used to being that at the other side, bottom half. So yeah, we went a few games without winning, and obviously there was talks about the manager being under pressure and stuff like that. So I remember coming on for Coley. He got a little knock, and within 5-10 minutes, I remember winning a penalty. So I was thinking, oh yeah, it's a great start. I'm buzzing, because I was playing up front with Franco.
Oh yeah, Franco.
He was one of the best technical players I've ever obviously come across. He just done things so effortlessly. It was very, very, very
tidy,
good.
very tidy player, yeah.
Very tidy. And I remember him sliding me in, and I got taken down for the penalty, and Noble scored. And then out of nowhere, Ashley Young crossed it when it went into the top corner.
I remember it, mate. I remember it. I was there.
So when he crossed it and he went in top corner, obviously, fuming a little bit, but it's part of life. So, and I remember in the game, I still had a couple opportunities, but I kind of like slashed at it and little things like that. And that's that little composure I probably didn't have at the time. So because I was so enthusiastic to impact the game, I didn't really take.
Yeah, still raw.
They
just wanted it so bad.
Yeah, still raw and stuff like that. So, and I remember obviously the winning goal. I remember. I always remember this goal because it was last minute, and every kid want to score last minute.
That's the dream.
Everyone. No one could. That's one thing I live, and I'll always speak about it, because that's that dream that I've dreamt of. I've sat in bed, spoke to my friends when I was younger about scoring a winner. And I remember when
Park explode, when that used to explode, mate, and last minute goals.
Last minute. And I remember Scott Parker was driving with the ball, and I'm thinking, we've got like three, 4, 5 players around us. He's never ever going to give it to me. Oh, he can't find me. But he was probably one of the best players I've ever played.
He's one of my favourite players. I know obviously he left for Tottenham and that hurt us, but he's one of the best players I've ever seen play for West Ham. Scotty Parker, fantastic. Leadership skills were ridiculous.
Yeah, and then even how he found me in that moment, in that space, and then how I adapted or adjusted. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I took 2 touch, 3 touch. And then it was in the back, and the next thing I was just screaming, running off. I was buzzing. What a moment! That day changed everything for me. Just made me want it even more than ever, and I loved that feeling. And then, like you said, it being at Upton Park, the best stadium I've played at.
Was that a night game? It was a night game as well, wasn't it? Was that under the lights as well? That's totally the dream. That's the dream.
You know. That's just special. So like scoring at that time, seeing the fans, hearing the fans, and it being the actual winner. I remember coming off, and me and Junior was like, he came up to me, he was celebrating. It was just last minute. You can't ask anymore.
You can't. What a moment. The Millwall game, mate. Honestly, like. I don't know how you like get through a game like that. You know, it's a once in a generation thing. You know, I'm 36. I've seen us play Millwall 2-3 times. You know, we might not ever play Millwall again for another 20 years. So the fact that you've played that game and you've been in the winning team, mate, what was that like that night? That must have just been crazy. The atmosphere in there was enough for the fans, but as players, you must feel that even more.
Yeah, we do feel it, but I think at times, I don't want to sound cliche, but we had to focus on the game, because if we lost, then it would have been worse for us from our fans. So if we don't focus on the game, then we're gonna feel it somehow. So yeah, I remember coming into the stadium and there was just a lot going on. The roads was packed. It was tough.
Mad.
It was hard. It was hard to get into the stadium. Heard that there has been a lot of violence beforehand. So obviously we tried to switch off from that. I remember I was meant to start that game. I wanted to start that game because I thought I was going to start, but I didn't. So I was slightly fuming because you want to play this game.
That's right, mate. But good attitude to have, mate. Good attitude.
Yeah. So that happened, and I remember coming on. I think it was at halftime or just before after halftime. I came on because we was losing 1-0, and then I just tried to make an impact. I tried to enjoy it as well, because I think a lot of times in those sort of situations you don't really enjoy the moment enough, because of obviously the expectations, the pressure, the fans, everyone, and even yourself. You want to do good for yourself, your family, and the fans. So seeing obviously the fans running on the pitch, and that, for me, I was okay, because I'm at home. So it was okay. I just felt a little bit sorry for the Millwall players because they didn't have a clue. I looked at some of their faces. They was petrified.
What was it like to score in that game? You did score, didn't you? You scored in that game.
Yeah. I remember.
How does that compare to the Aston Villa goal as well? Is that one? What one's more your favourite?
I think the Villa one, because it's a last-minute winner, something I've dreamt of. But then at the same time, the Millwall one is special because, like you said, the rivalry between the clubs.
And it's a generational thing, so we don't play each other often.
Exactly that. So then for me to actually score as well, like, I take pride in that as well. So, obviously definitely Villa one on a personal level, but when I think about the context of everything and what it meant, scoring against Millwall, because of everything that comes with it, Millwall one is up there as well.
No, definitely, mate, definitely. How did you feel about when you had to leave West Ham? How did that come about, and how did you feel at the time? Was you gutted, or was you sort of, you felt you had to go? Like, how did that come about?
I spoke about this a little while back. Initially, I didn't want to leave. I said that I wanted to stay. I remember I came back at the end of that season. Avram Grant left, and then Sam Allardyce came in. And during pre-season, obviously, we was having a conversation. They offered me a new deal. Obviously, my agent was obviously negotiating, doing what they needed to do. That's obviously their job. I already told everyone that I wanted to stay. I didn't want to leave. West Ham is my club. So
you was doing well. You were doing well with your club as well.
So, and I remember in pre-season when Sam Allardyce was there, at times I was training with the younger ones because I didn't sign straight away. And then I was playing in the reserves at time in pre-season, and I was like, all right, that's fine. If you got to do that, then that's what happens. Eventually, I'll come back in and be a part of the first team. And then towards the end of pre-season, I went into his office and we had like a conversation. And by the end of the conversation, he didn't care if I was there or not.
We just signed Matty Taylor then, probably, wasn't it? He would have played your position when he left-hand side.
Yeah, so he said that I'm going to sign my players anyway. So if you sign it or not, that's up to you.
It's a shame, mate. It's just that I don't think it's anything against you. It's just you're not a Sam Allardyce style player. You know, he likes the workhorses. You were the trick star, the speed star. You know, maybe it was just a timing thing at the time, mate.
No, but I still think I could have been effective.
Oh, mate, 100%. As fans, we see that, mate. I was gutted when you left, mate. You and Junior were really good, dynamic players, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Bit like Brady.
So like as a young player, when you come through the academy and this is all you've known, and then a new manager comes in and basically make you feel like, oh yeah, you could go and do whatever you want to do. We don't really care if you're here. That was the context of the conversation, and the attitude towards the conversation and me actually being at the club. So then for the same thing to happen to Junior as well, who's obviously probably done more than me as well at the club, scored a bit more goals than me as well, that I think he wanted to stay as well.
He's had a career, Junior, as well. He carried on that. He's had a really good career, Junior, hasn't he?
He's done really well. We still speak now. We stay in contact quite often. So obviously for us both to be sold in like a double deal at the same time, obviously it was good for me because I had him coming with me at the same time.
Mate with
But
you,
but it's not what I wanted.
You'd rather stay at West Ham,
100%, 100%.
So you did play for a few clubs there. I've got them down the bottom there: Bradford, Burnley, Southend, Dagenham. I didn't even realise, mate, when I was doing the research, you played in the League Cup final. Obviously not the best result, bloody 5-0 loss, but good experience. Maybe the semi-final was a better experience for you because that was something that was a semi-final.
Yeah, no, the whole experience was good for me. Even losing, I always believe when you lose, there's something to gain from it. Just the whole experience, being at a League Two club with limited budget, beating 3-4 Premier League clubs on the way. A lot of people wouldn't say that will happen. And then being a League Two club to get to the Carling Cup final and playing and playing almost 50 games in the league as well on top of that, with other cup competitions as well with small squads. To be able to do that, that was one of my highlights of my career because that's not
you
that
don't
no
hear
one's
of
done
League
it.
Two clubs getting into
You don't.
finals, you don't see it anymore.
But we had decent players. The manager assembled a team where we had good individuals that worked as a team. Everyone knew their roles within the system, so it was effective. Our style, and it helped us get to obviously where we did. Obviously, in the final, it probably didn't work, but it definitely didn't work.
Team, that was a very good Swansea team back then. To be fair,
no,
was that Michu days.
Michu days. I remember the team. I remember being at Wembley, and I started on the bench that game, and I was just watching their movement, their flow, their rhythm within their passing, and their consistency in the little details of their passing to go, whether it's forward or sideways. I thought that was outstanding. Loudrop was the manager at the time, but their ideas and how they play off each other, how they connect. Obviously, we just couldn't get close to them. I don't think we had 5 passes together at one point. Our first shot of the game was in the 88th minute, and it was just a little P roller into the keeper's hands. So yeah, they
you played in the final. That's something that not a lot of players have got.
Exactly that. So even when I look back at my playing time, there's a few moments within that time where I've had a lot of injuries. Well, 2 injuries, and that slowed me down. But also, I've had a lot of highlights more than I've had injuries.
What is your favourite moment of your career? Like, if you had to put it down to 1 or maybe 2, what is your favourite moment?
Obviously scoring a winner, and I played for England 21s at the time. Scored 2 on my debut. But I think overall, because of the time and what it meant, probably playing against Liverpool. Because
you were so good in that game, mate. Honestly, me and my dad still talk about that game today. Because I think the only difference that game made between West Ham was Fernando Torres was just unreal that day. He was ridiculously good that day.
I remember that game because my brother is a Liverpool fan as well. And that was like my first home start. So walking out to Upton Park, just playing against a top team and being able to perform.
Mate, you made a top right back look really average that game as well. Like Glenn Johnson was a top right back then as well.
I should have scored. I remember taking the ball off Carragher like early on, like in the first 5 minutes or so, and I went 1v1 and I hit the post. I was fuming. But yeah, Pepe Reina came out very quick, so he closed down with space very, very quick. But just the overall performance and the moment for me, and just what it meant to actually be able to hold my own against a top team. But also I was with a couple top players around me that helped me as well. So even though I love scoring, you probably expected me to say scoring here, scoring there, but just the overall performance and playing against a top team like that is probably one of my highlights.
Yeah, mate. Who's the best player you've played against?
Best player, probably. There's a few. Torres was good.
Yeah, phenomenal. Back then, Liverpool days.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Gerrard was good that day as well. Cesc Fabregas was good. Jack Wilshere was good when he was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Van Persie.
Oh yeah, what a player.
Yeah, but probably one of the best or toughest defender I played against. Obviously, I still raw, but he was so good and he's so quick. But he just looked this. Yeah, Vermaelen at Arsenal.
Oh yeah, Vermaelen.
He was honestly like, he was so good, man. He was so quick, very composed on the ball, and he could head the ball. He's very aggressive.
Yeah.
So I remember when we played Arsenal, I didn't get a sniff, but even though we drew 2-2.
Right, so now you're coaching, mate. You've gone full circle. You come back to West Ham.
Yeah.
What's that like, mate? Is that something you've always wanted? Is management something you want to do going forward? Like, what, or is it more of a coach? Would you prefer to be a coach going forward?
Initially, when I was playing, I didn't think I wanted to be a coach. Not probably because I didn't know myself as an individual and what I actually wanted. I didn't know what I wanted to do, if I was being honest. And then once I decided to stop playing, I came in when Jack Collison was the 18s manager.
Oh yeah.
And then he just like come in and just see if this is something. See if and one of my biggest thing in life was I always wanted to be able to help someone achieve their dream that I did, because it's the best feeling ever. So if I could be a part of that journey, then I feel like I've not accomplished something, but I feel I'm just happy with that. And I live by the saying that I want to be someone that I never had growing up. So I live by that. So the best platform that I could have done is coaching. And it's a different way of teaching. So, and I never knew how to teach. I've never taught before. So I had to learn those skills and be able to implement my football IQ and my football knowledge. And how to do that was actually going through all the coaching badges and different things like that. So, but I always loved being on the grass. I love football. Like that's just me inside out. So then to just completely step away from football after finishing, it just seems so bizarre and far-fetched for me.
Well, it's been your whole life, hasn't it? Yeah, it's really hard to step away from something that's been your whole life. Exactly
that. So then I decided to just step into this field, do my coaching, do my level 2 again. I'm a B license again. West Ham helped me do that. So then I went straight into with the 13s and 14s at West Ham. And then I was still learning. So I was still doing the badges and all of that kind of stuff. But I was taking more sessions, and I've been taught and I've been helped by certain individuals within the club. And then I just kind of I fell in love with the whole coaching aspect of things.
Is there anyone we should be excited about, mate, in your ranks? Is there anyone that really sticks out that you think, yeah, this geezer's a player?
It's too early. It's too early for me because a lot of them are like 12, 13-year-olds. So, and I've seen a lot of technically good 12, 13-year-olds that fades off by the time we get to under 16s, under 18. So it's hard to say. We've got some good players, that's for sure. But if they'll make it all the way, it depends on their mentality and their attitude and the support that they get outside of football. So it's hard to say, and I don't want to single out anyone.
No. I can understand that. I wouldn't want you to single out someone, but it must be great just to have that though, because I'm a PE teacher, and I see academy players that play for Arsenal, play for West Ham, and it's just great to see these good players that really it's great to see. It's just brilliant to see.
Yeah, like for me, I think a lot of times they don't understand how amazing it is to actually be a part of an academy that actually wants you to be successful, even though financially the club might earn from it. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that's within the club that's not getting anything financially, like myself. So I'm within the club, and I'm helping get them better as people and as individuals. So with that, it brings me pride, it brings me joy, but also I know that if I'm able to help, then that just makes me happy. So I love
it's great to have people like you around the club, mate. You know, people that have done that journey and show these young players that they can do it if they work hard enough.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest thing. I don't get nothing from it. I'm not in the agency game, or I'm not in anything like that. I don't get any financial gain from it. I take pride in being able to be a support system of some sort. So for them, any young kid to be able to, like I said, live their dream that I did, then I've achieved something. At least 1%. If I'm able to help at least 1%, then that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, mate. Right, just to finish off, mate, I'm going to keep you for about another 5 minutes. Going to have a bit of fun. If you had to have a five-a-side team of West Ham players, we'll just do West Ham. A West Ham five-a-side team, mate. Who would you put in there? Players you've played with, though. That's the only rule.
Oh, players I played with. Okay. I'm just going to choose all the attackers. I was Rob Green and goal.
Yeah, it's got to be Bobby Green, isn't it? It's got to be Rob.
Yeah.
All right, let's make it a little bit harder for you then. All right, so you have to pick a defender, a midfielder, and two attackers or two midfielders, whatever way. But you have to have one defender in there.
One defender, Gabidon.
Oh, Danny, yeah, what player Danny was. What a great player.
One of the best defenders I played.
Injuries, though. It's the only thing with it. It was unfortunate of him. He had some funny injuries, didn't he?
Yeah. Scott Parker.
Yeah, got to have Scotty. You can pick yourself.
Nah. Junior.
Yeah, Junior, yeah.
And Jack Collison.
Oh, Jack, no striker.
Yeah, we're playing
a false nine.
Yeah, false nine. You got to track your runner.
I know my mate who does this channel with me, mate. I'd be gutted that you didn't put Colton in there, mate. Big Colton.
I was going to put Coley, but I got to pick my close mates.
That's it, mate. Ride the journey together.
Yeah.
Right, finish off, mate. I'm going to do it like they do at Soccer AM. You know, where they do them questions like teammates. That's how we're going to finish off the show, yeah?
All right, cool.
Right, so best trainer.
Scott Parker.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the quickest you've ever played against or played with?
Quickest?
Because you were quick. You were quick, mate.
When I was the 21s, Phil Walker.
Oh yeah, rapid, weren't he?
Yeah,
rapid.
Yeah, it was off. Yeah, it was very quick. And then remember, what's his name? Is it Fabio Barella, the Mexican?
Oh yeah, Fabio Barella.
Yeah, he was rapid as well. He was very good.
On the reverse of that, mate, the slowest. Marky Noble never had any pace, to be fair.
Nobes is definitely one of them. Nobes was deceivingly sharp. I remember we used to do little fast feet, sharp agility stuff in training, and he used to beat me at times. So I was confused with that. So maybe just fought quicker. So that's probably what it was. Nobes a little bit. What else? Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, hard man? Who is the hard man? You know, who's the one you don't want to be getting in a row with, or puts the naughty tackles in training? You know, leaves something on you in training. Did you play with Repka at all?
No.
No, I was trying to work out whether that was your generation.
Before my time. Christian Daly.
Oh, Christian, yeah.
Manu da Costa.
I liked him. Portuguese guy, went on to Florentina. Yeah. I liked him.
Yeah, he was good. Who else?
Did you have Lucas Neal? Was Lucas Neal there at the time?
Lucas Neal as well. He was just before me, but I was out in the reserves training with them sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those three.
Next one, most skillful you've played with.
Most skillful. Don't know.
No?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of someone's in your generation, someone like maybe like a Diamante or someone like that. Or
But Diamante, he's very technical, but I don't think he was very.
He was when he got it, he faded out of a game. That's the only thing.
Yeah, Junior's quite skillful.
No, he was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
what
sure.
about for your whole career? Is it like even including England as well? Like, is there anyone like that international level that?
Daniel Sturridge, was skillful. Welbeck.
Oh yeah, Welbeck as well. Yeah. Next one. Who was the DJ? Who was in charge of the music, mate, in your day?
It was either Nobes, I think. Before that was Lucas Neal.
Oh yeah, and what was that sort of music like?
Nah, they had a mixture of everything, to be honest. They weren't too bad. Sometimes they'll come up, put some stuff on that was confusing to me, but other times they'll put something that I could vibe to. So they had a good mix.
What about best dancer? Obviously, if you was in there with Antonio now, we know Antonio wins that miles down. But what about in your day?
My day, Nobes tried to do a little bit on his day, but I'm not sure if he could move. He thought he could. Coley got a little bit. Anton Ferdinand had a little bit. Yeah.
Most intelligent. Now you could take that whatever way you want, whether it's academically or as a football intelligence. Who's the most intelligent?
Scotty, Rob Green. Yeah.
What about worst dress sense?
Worse.
Who was rocking up in some of them outfits, mate?
Probably Diamante. But he was Italian, so anything good fashion.
Yeah. What about Joker of the pack? Who's the one who used to be the Joker in your day? Who was the one who was
Nobes is a comedian.
Yeah.
Nobes is a comedian. Lucas Neal, Scott Parker as well. Coley loves it. Yeah, he loves it.
I love Coley. Yeah. What about teacher's pet? Who was the manager's favourite? Who could get away with murder?
Coley. Coley, man.
Right, last question, mate. Who's the most famous person on your phone?
Most famous person on my phone? Oh wow. Stormzy.
What? Good, son.
yeah. He's one of our friends.
Yeah, one of your boys. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I wasn't expecting that. That's a good pull you pulled there.
Yeah, we're around each other a lot. He's always active in our group chat. He loves it because especially now that United signed Ronaldo, he's very active.
Oh yeah, he's a United fan, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a good guy as well.
Last question for you, mate. On West Ham, this one. What do you expect this year? So, in terms of prediction, what would be a good season for you, like with the Europa League and that? What would be a great season for West
Ham? Looking at the group that we're in, I think qualification out of the group will be good. I think top 6, top 8. It's going to be tough. Like I don't want to be too. Depending on our squad depth as well, if we stay away from
some players in the next couple of days, it changes your opinion totally, doesn't it?
And especially if we don't get so many injuries as well, that will help. But if everyone's fit and everyone playing a lot of games, top 8 definitely, and qualification from the group stages, that would be good. And a little cup run in the FA Cup or Carling Cup would be nice.
Yeah, mate, I'll be buzzing for that. Absolutely buzzing. Anyway, Zavon, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Absolute pleasure. You've been joy, mate. Proper good laugh. Really enjoyed myself.
No problem.
If you're around here, please subscribe. And Zavon, mate, anything else to say? Last thing?
No, thank you. I just hope that everyone gets what they deserve and hope that the club continues to bring more joy to the fans because it's been a long time. We haven't had fans for a long time, so I hope you get what you deserve. So look forward to the season.
Yeah. Come on, you Hines. Keep believing. Let's go.